Hello there, what is up? Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. Today we are going to be doing a eyeshadow palette declutter / review. If you have been a member of our community for over a year, or you found me last year, or you found me like 2 days ago and you've just been binge watching my videos, you may or may not know that I did an eyeshadow declutter last summer, like almost a year to now. And I actually decluttered my entire makeup collection. So the entire makeup collection minus eyeshadow palettes did really well. I don't really have that much more than I did whenever I decluttered, with the exception of like a few lipsticks here and there. Pretty much just stayed with the other makeup products, but the eyeshadow palettes, that collection grew again. Some were sent to me in subscription boxes, some were sent by the company and influencer to try out, but some I just went out and bought, and honestly I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So there may very well be next year another declutter, or in a few months another eyeshadow declutter. I don't know what it is, dudes. The eyeshadows, they call me. They bewitch me.
You have bewitched me, body and soul, and I love you.
So I just see them and I'm like, they're so pretty. I have to have it. And so I buy them within reason. I buy them. So I just want to give like a sort of visual. I cannot by any means lift up all of my eyeshadow palettes, or maybe I could. Hold on. We're almost there. There we go. Let's see if I can actually lift it up. I made the silly mistake of putting the larger ones in the middle. So here, dang, that's heavy. Here is my eyeshadow collection. So yeah, I'm gonna declutter it and give you a little like feedback of what I thought of the shadows, and I would love to have you hang out with me for that today. By the way, as I am going through this, if you have any feedback on these eyeshadow palettes, or you would like to suggest your all-time favorite eyeshadow palette, leave that in the comments down below for me and everyone else to read. Let's get started. I am really going to do this in no particular order. So first up we have an eyeshadow palette from Cheyenne B Miami. This is the Miami eyeshadow palette. I really do love the coating of this eyeshadow palette. It's that nice soft coating. I received this in an Ipsy Glam Bag Plus, I think it was. And these are definitely some basic shades, but like really everyday warm shades. We have some mattes here and some shimmers here. I used this a few times with some videos over on Instagram. Did like the palette, did like the formula. However, it was just sort of, I don't know, just sort of always sank to the very bottom. And so I said that the last time I decluttered this collection, and since I'm saying it again, I am going to declutter this one. Next up, we have Ilia. This is their warm nude palette from their Necessary eyeshadow palette line. It has these colors in it. Let me show you. This is definitely a warm eyeshadow palette. I wear this a lot during the fall and winter times, not so much in the summer. This is a clean beauty line. Just wanted to throw that out there, just in case you were looking for a basic everyday clean beauty eyeshadow palette. This would be a great go-to. So even though I have not worn this all summer long, I am going to keep this one because I know I will use this almost on a daily basis when the fall rolls around. Next up, we have an eyeshadow palette from NYX. This is part of their, I'm not sure if they still have this collection, but this is part of their Ultimate Edit collection. This is Phoenix. So by the way, if you were interested in seeing how these eyeshadow palettes are used, if I have a tutorial or an eyeshadow look sort of video, I will link it in the description box down below. I say this because I did do an eyeshadow tutorial using this palette, and I think it is still in the stores. So these are beautiful colors as well. I really do. I picked it up because I loved the color story, still do love the color story, but I just don't use it all that often, so I am going to declutter it. This packaging is like a to die for packaging. I love how it looks very roaring 20s. This is from Ace Beauty, or Ace Butte, not really sure with that accent right there. This is their Vintage Dawn eyeshadow palette. And these are some beautiful shades. Actually, the last time I decluttered it, I just didn't get much use out of it. I have gotten some use out of it, specifically in these shimmers, But other than that, I still have not gotten much use out of this one, which is a shame because it is such a beautiful palette. I'm going to put it in my maybe pile. This will be my maybe pile right here. So we have declutter here, keep, and maybe. I'm going to come back to it, like circle back at the end of the video to decide. Next up we have from BareMinerals. This is part of their Bounce and Blur line. This is Dusk. So they have Dusk, which is the darker shade range here. And then they have a lighter one that I've heard that the lighter one is mostly shimmers. This one is not shimmery, or not that shimmery. So these are putty shadows, and they work really, really well. They work really well, especially in high humidity. And as you can see, I've hit pan on this one. I'm almost hitting pan on this one. Definitely do use this. Once again, sort of like the Ilia palette, this is definitely a fall and winter palette for me, so I am going to keep it, see if it lasts another season. Because I'm not exactly sure how long like putty eyeshadows like that stay good. So it says back here 6 months. I have had this far longer than 6 months. The texture is still good. The smell is still good. In all honesty, as long as something is still good as far as texture and smell, I do still use it even if it is past its expiration date. We have a duo from Element Beauty. This is the Ariel and Luna eyeshadow duo. Got this in an Ipsy bag a few months back. And my only complaint about these two, specifically in the fact that they're a duo, usually whenever I purchase duos or see duos, there's a matte shade and then a shimmery shade. They're both shimmers, which there's nothing wrong with that. I wear shimmers on almost a daily basis, but I don't know. I thought that they were just both very bland eyeshadow toppers, and it was odd that they were put in both the same package. So I am going to declutter this. Here is a very tiny eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. Cosmetics. This is their bite-size eyeshadow collection in the shade range of Truffles. I featured this one, I think it was last summer I featured it in a like makeup where everything was under $20. Like the entire thing, the entire makeup look was under $20. And this was one of the features in there because this eyeshadow palette, if I'm not mistaken, is $3, somewhere around there. And yeah, I find that it is, especially these shades, are great for everyday, great high quality shades. So I'm going to keep those. So switching gears, going from very, very affordable to super, super luxury. Tom Ford, I did not purchase this one. This one was sent over to me from Tom Ford and Influencer. And this is, oh, these are beautiful. So, oh no. This is their eyeshadow quad in the shade range of Nude Dip. And yes, I do use the little sponge that came with it because sponges are actually the best. If you're not using your fingers, they are the best for these shimmers and for these glitters because they really adhere to the shimmer. So anyway, I am going to keep these. They're a good, nice pop of shimmer whenever I want something that is just like a mature sort of like work appropriate shimmer, that it's just like, just catches the light just right and is not 100% all glitter. And just this packaging. This packaging is so simple, yet so gorgeous. So this is going in the keep pile. Next up, we have Celestial Thunder from Dominique Cosmetics. Got this in a BoxyCharm. I do want to say this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's a fun shade range. Like these two pops right here are so much fun. Lucid Dream and Mystic Ice. And I've used this, I've actually used this a few times. I used this in a tutorial way back when, and I've used it, I would say, possibly 20 times in my life. But look at it. Look, with the exception of Fireball right here that I really dug in with my finger to get that shimmer out, it looks like I have not even used it. So that's something, considering especially like these are very high pigmented shades, I find. So usually when it's high pigment, that payoff is for, like I found at least, that like you dig in and it's more powdery to be high pigment. But anyway, see, this is where it's like I want to keep them because in my mind I think I'll use them, but I probably won't. So I'm going to declutter this one. Next up, we have NYX Mystic Petals. This is in the shade range of Midnight Orchid. Orchid? Orchid. Wow, Orchid. I should really be using my glasses for this. So, great purple range with some neutral colors right here. I couldn't think of what these were called. With neutral colors and that black. I think I'm going to have to declutter this one as well just because I do want to be as cutthroat as possible in this. So if I'm thinking of things that I probably have these shades in other palettes / shades that I wear often, this probably wouldn't be it. So I will declutter this one. Ooh, speaking of shades that I do not wear that often anymore, that is blue shades. So this is from ColourPop. This is their Mar collection or their L'Amour collection. I can't remember. It just says Mar here, but these were beachy sort of items. So you do have neutrals here. Like if you take that out, it is definitely a neutral eyeshadow palette, but you do have those pops here, and I just don't use those. So I will be decluttering this one. This one has seen quite a lot of love from me, so don't feel as bad about decluttering this one. This is from Aether Beauty. I genuinely do love what they're doing as a company with their brand. They are 100% waste free, and I definitely think that that is something admirable about a company who, no matter their size, whether they're a small company or a large company, if they try to make their products waste free or they try to minimize the waste that they use in their production, I love that. So this is their Summer Solstice palette, and as you can see, I've used this quite often. I am 100% going to keep this because these are more the shades that I do go into in my everyday life. Next up, we have the Sultry palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Still really love this packaging. It's so shimmery. I still really do love these shades. So, I mean, this is a really great neutral palette. This palette, I find I can wear it whether I'm going somewhere fancy or I am just going to the grocery store and want to put on a face of makeup. I do know that Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow formula tends to go bad quicker than others, but currently it seems still okay. So as long as it is still good, I am going to keep it and keep using it. This is an eyeshadow palette from Alamar Cosmetics. And so these shadows definitely have that tropical vibe going on. I've definitely enjoyed using them, but I am going to declutter them. I especially love, by the way, this. I don't know if my camera will focus because it's giving me some issues today. I especially love these two blues, but just not really my vibe anymore. This is the volume 1 of the Norvina collection Pro Pigment palettes from Anastasia Beverly Hills and Norvina, that collaboration they did. This has both eyeshadows and pigments, or eye pigments, or color pigments. I don't exactly remember what they're called, but so excited to purchase this one. This one I really kind of, I used a coupon, but I did splurge on this one. However, I am glad that I splurged on this one because I am still using it, still getting a good amount of use out of it. Definitely has those purple shades that I love as well as others. As you can see, love that gold. I've done a lot of makeup looks with this one, even though it is sort of a bright in-your-face sort of shade range. Definitely think that it is a very versatile eyeshadow palette. So I am going to keep that one. An eyeshadow palette that I don't think they sell anymore from Morphe. This is the 35i Icy Fantasy. But this one was a pastel, or is, I mean, it's still here. It's a pastel shade range. And honestly, I don't know if it's just, if it was just me, like user error. As you can see, like this one got a lot of use out of it, but the colors just didn't really 100% show up on my skin. And it was probably, I don't want to say user error, I just think it's like my complexion. I mean, I'm quite a pale person, so I think it was pastels on my pale skin just really didn't show up well, really didn't look good. So I gave it a fair shot, but I am going to declutter this one. Another ColourPop, this is part of their collaboration with Disney and with Bambi, and this was the Thumper eyeshadow palette. I bought this honestly just because of the packaging. It is so stinking cute, but here are the shades. I am going to keep this one because frankly, I haven't gotten all that much use out of it. Ooh, it still has the sticker on it, see? Wow, so satisfying. So I'm going to keep it just to see if I get a little more use out of it. Honestly, I purchased it, used it a few times, put it in my makeup bucket, and because of its size, it just sort of sunk down and I kind of forgot about it. So this is why I like to do these declutterings, so that I can remind myself what I have in my collection. So I will keep this until my next decluttering go round and see where it stands. Next up, we have the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I still think this is such a beautiful palette design. All of these photos, and I still think it's such a beautiful palette. Just this color story. Whenever I bought this on sale, whenever I first saw this, I thought the color palette just looked sort of meh. And then I saw a YouTuber, Andrea, I think is her name, I'll link her channel down below, use this in a few tutorials, and it just looks so striking and so stunning on her. So when it went on sale, I purchased it, and I'm so glad that I did. I will be keeping the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This iconic London palette, A Day to Slay, came in a BoxyCharm. Here is that color story. Definitely love this one. As you can see, I will be keeping it. It's just very, very bulky. That is the only thing that I don't like about this eyeshadow palette. It's just like look, in comparison, or even if you want to say like comparison, because they're almost the same size, look how bulky that is. Ugh. So kind of hard to store, but love the eyeshadows. Next up is from Fenty Beauty. This is her Moroccan Spice palette. This one does feature shimmers as well as some mattes. I was really excited to receive this in the Fenty Beauty BoxyCharm Premium collaboration that they did a while back. But once I started using this and started creating looks, I was just like, it's all right. I was really glad I didn't go out to the store to buy it and that it just came to me in my BoxyCharm. I will be decluttering this one. There is another eyeshadow palette from Aether Beauty. So this is their Crystal Grid Gemstone palette. This is actually, so I don't use this one all that often. I use it just sometimes to complete looks because this is a 100% shimmer eyeshadow palette. And whenever I purchased this one and then the other one together. And when I did, I put the wrong one in the basket. I meant to put their amethyst one, which was the purple one. And I guess I just got, I don't know. I guess because of the packaging, I got confused. I don't know what it was. But this one is not the one that I wanted, but I kept it anyway because maybe the universe knew more than me about my eyeshadows. But I don't use it all that often just because it is all shimmer. Still really good quality, but I will be decluttering this one. Here we have the Blush Nudes from Maybelline New York. This one is the second or third blush nudes that I have. I usually just go through them all and pan them all, and it's a really good basic staple. I think it costs $10, so really, really affordable. And this is something that actually out of all of these, this is probably the one that I use most in my day-to-day life. I even took it on vacation with me and created tons of really nice natural looks. So we'll be keeping this one. The Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills is probably my favorite still go-to ride or die eyeshadow palette. I'm keeping this one and I'm going to put it off to the side, not as eyeshadow, because remember how I said that these eyeshadow formulas go quicker than others? They've started to go. So I've panned most of this, 7 of the shades still left. They've gone though, like they look good when they're on, but like 30 minutes later, they break down, and that's not normal. At least for me, that's not normal with her formulas. So I have just been scraping and mixing them to use them as nail polishes. So I'm going to keep it to do that, but put it off to the side because I'm not counting this in my nail polish keep, but I did just want to talk about the palette. Next up is a Profusions palette. This is the Chocolates palette. So I recently purchased this, and I am going to keep it because I recently purchased it, but I purchased it mainly for these two shades. Just an FYI. But I am so impressed with the Profusions color. Like, the pigment in this is amazing. Is it a little powdery? Yes. But this whole palette only cost me $12, so I definitely think that is a giant payoff. Cost is really affordable, has really good color pigment, so I don't mind if these eyeshadows are a little bit on the powdery side. We're down to 4 palettes. Okay, so this one is an oldie but a goodie. It was my first video that I did on this channel from Kiko Milano. This was part of their Green Me collection. This is their Cool Spice. I'm going to declutter this. I want to hold on to it for sentimental value. I'm in the process of decluttering my whole apartment, so trying to not hold on to things purely because, like, I can link a memory to it. So yeah, I am definitely going to declutter this one because I don't use it at all anymore. This one is from BH Cosmetics. This is their Los Angeles. It's part of like a travel collection. Look how cute that is. Or maybe it's called Lost in Los Angeles. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yes, Lost in Los Angeles. This is part of their travel series. I think that these colors are just so fun. Definitely not eyeshadows that I would wear like on a day-to-day basis, like at work and such, but these are really fun to create looks for over on Instagram. So I am going to keep this one. This is Glow by Glory, a collaboration with Benji. Beauty by Benji. There they are. And this is another really sort of basic eyeshadow palette, which I'm not saying basic like that's a bad thing. Love basic eyeshadow palettes, but basic neutral eyeshadow palette with a fun pop of color there. Do like this. However, since as you've seen, I have tons of neutral eyeshadow palettes, I am going to declutter this one. I circled back, by the way, and I have decided that I'm going to declutter this Vintage Dawn. And then one that I know off the top of my head I'm going to be keeping. It was a treat to myself for surviving the first... Actually, it was a treat to myself for surviving through the Christmas break. So I bought this for myself in January, February timeline. So it was a lot of a splurge, but it was like a yay, you didn't die sort of treat to myself. Yeah, so let me explain that for a second. I'm a teacher and I taught in person last school year with some immune system issues. So it was a real literally yay, I didn't die. It's the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. So this is not one of her $120 or $160 eyeshadow palettes. I would not... I don't think I could stomach spending that much on one eyeshadow palette. But this is one at one of her cheaper price points. Look how beautiful this is. Oh. And I've used it quite often and you can't honestly tell that I have. But yes, so I will be keeping this one. All right, so really proud of that declutter. I decluttered down to just 14 palettes. Whenever I started, I kind of had this, I want to keep it 15 or under sort of mentality going. So definitely hit that mark, got to 14 palettes. So I'm gonna make it my mission to use these as much as possible, just so that I can say that I actually use the things in my apartment and in my makeup collection specifically. So like I said at the beginning of the video, but I'm just reminding you now, if you were still watching this, if you have some feedback on these eyeshadow palettes, please let us know in the comments down below. I loved reading in my last eyeshadow palette unclutter, declutter last year. Loved reading all of the comments to see what people said, if they thought the eyeshadows worked really well for them or if they did not work well for them. I'm still getting comments like that, still love reading them, so I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up and do consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that bell before you leave here today. It will not only help you be able to see when I upload new videos, but also let YouTube know that people are enjoying videos like this and will tip the YouTube algorithm off to suggest it to more people so they can come and join our community. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye!